Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into a really comprehensive analysis of modern business education. We're pulling insights directly from four incredibly diverse sources. We've got everything from deep dive structural critiques and data-driven AI analysis right down to the real-world, messy student experiences from Reddit and expert career panels. It's an absolutely fascinating cross-section of what business school actually represents today.
Okay, let's dive into this. For decades, the master of business administration has carried this immense cultural weight. It's basically been viewed as the ultimate launchpad for ambitious professionals. But given shifting global economies, skyrocketing tuition, and just massive technological disruption, we really have to ask the fundamental question here. Is the MBA still a golden ticket to the C-suite? Or has it kind of become an outdated, overpriced luxury?
To figure that out, we first have to look at the current market reality. According to a recent economic survey that was brought up in ET Career Talks, the degree still commands massive employability dominance. We're talking about a staggering 71.16% employability rate for MBA grads compared to just under 29% for other degrees. So right out of the gate, the market power of this credential is undeniably still a huge force. So to truly understand this landscape, here's our roadmap. We'll be flowing from macro-level economic theories all the way down to micro-level student realities. We're covering the MBA allure, flawed economic foundations, leadership in the AI age, the real classroom experience, navigating the ROI, and finally, answering that big question, is it worth it?
Starting with Section 1, the MBA allure and the financial upside.
And this brilliantly illustrates why so many people are drawn to the degree. Let's be real, while purpose and continuous learning are super important, the primary reason a lot of professionals pursue this is the financial draw. Looking at data from the Levy School of Business, the hard math is pretty clear. Graduates stepping into California tech hubs are pulling in incredible compensation. We're looking at averages over $194,000 in Palo Alto and San Francisco, and actually pushing past $202,000 in Berkeley. It definitely anchors the allure of the degree in a very lucrative reality for those who secure top placements. Moving on to Section 2, flawed economic foundations, focusing on the macro critique. But we have to ask, what exactly are students paying to learn? Systems analyst Nate Higgins points out a massive theoretical flaw in the curriculum. At the core of most traditional business education is the standard Econ 101 baseline concept, Homo economicus. This is the theoretical model that basically assumes humans make decisions like perfectly well-behaved agents in a spreadsheet, calmly weighing costs and benefits, acting logically, consistently, and purely in their own self-interest. It's literally the foundational building block for how markets are modeled. But Higgins directly contrasts that textbook definition with our lived reality. He points out that real humans act on instinct, we chase status, and we are intensely social primates wired to belong. We aren't just isolated little utility engines. So Higgins argues that by building our entire economic and business models on this flawed assumption, we end up designing fragile markets that simply don't fit the actual, messy, beautifully irrational human animal. Higgins takes this critique even further by challenging how business schools actually teach about debt and energy. The myth presented in textbooks is that debt is just a neutral financial tool, right? Just a way to move consumption from the future to the present. But his argument is that the reality is vastly different. He notes that money is created endogenously, meaning banks simply create it when a loan is issued. Because of that, debt is actually a direct claim on future real-world inputs like energy and materials. To put that into perspective, he points out that just one barrel of oil replaces a staggering 11 years of human labor. So by treating energy as a mere footnote rather than the core driver of productivity, Higgins argues the standard MBA map is fundamentally disconnected from biophysical reality. Higgins also tackles the famous invisible hand theory. The myth taught in schools is that self-interest perfectly optimizes societal outcomes. But as Higgins points out, the reality is that markets completely ignore unpriced public goods. Things like clean air, climate stability, and community trust. They're left completely off the balance sheet. Because of this, he argues that GDP, which just tallies up monetary transactions, is often a better measure of cost than of actual societal benefit. In his view, the so-called laws of economics taught in these programs are really just context-dependent assumptions. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 3, leadership in the AI age and the modern anxiety surrounding it. While experts like Higgins focus on ecological limits, prospective students today are sweating a totally different limit, technological disruption. But the Levy School of Business explicitly addresses this anxiety. Yes, AI has immense strength, pattern recognition, automating workflows, predictive modeling. But they argue it doesn't replace the MBA. Actually, it creates a massive premium on uniquely human strengths. Think of it this way. AI provides the what, but organizations desperately need human leaders to provide the why. Strategic decision-making under extreme uncertainty, ethical judgment, managing a diverse team. Algorithms just can't replicate that. In our incredibly data-rich world, an MBA's ability to interpret narratives and drive cross-functional strategy becomes a major competitive edge.
Section 4. The real classroom experience. Let's get into the trenches.
Shifting focus from the institutional macro level down to the daily localized reality of an MBA student, what is it actually like? According to a massive thread in the r/MBI India Reddit community, it shatters quite a few myths. It's definitely not just sitting quietly in long lectures. It's constant, intense teamwork and navigating extreme ambiguity. The pressure is on immediately. Placement prep starts literally on day one. Also, the wildly diverse backgrounds of your peers, from seasoned pros to fresh grads, really enrich the discussions. And perhaps the biggest shocker, in real-world case studies, there's rarely just one right answer. It's all about how well you can defend your recommendation.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it bridges the gap between classroom academics and immense real-world value. Dr. Shraddha Singh from ET Career Talks hits the nail on the head. Your community is your currency. The true value of an MBA isn't just the textbook theory. It's the incredibly powerful alumni network you get to tap into. Entering these programs means joining a pedigree of individuals who elevate each other, invest in each other's startups, and carry each other through the corporate ecosystem.
Section 5. Navigating the ROI, the absolute elephant in the room.
To access that incredible community, we have to talk about the intense financial debate surrounding the degree, the return on investment. As discussed in ET Career Talks, the historic cost of a top-tier MBA in India used to be around 16,000 rupees a year. Today, that cost has absolutely skyrocketed. Premier institutions are now charging up to 4 million rupees. That's 40 lakhs for a program. That exponential rise creates immense, crushing pressure on students to secure immediate, high-paying placements just to justify the massive investment.
And, this massive financial pressure fundamentally changes how students evaluate job offers. Dr. Kunal from ET Career Talks shared this fascinating anecdote about the modern student's dilemma. Students today often have to choose between the bigger company, the one offering a higher salary, great brand prestige, but really rigid office hours, versus the better company, which might offer a lower salary but provides incredible work-life balance, work-from-home perks, and flexibility. Traditional corporate ambition is really clashing with a new generational expectation of work-life balance. It forces you to weigh what you actually value. If it were you, would you choose the bigger company or the better one?
Bringing it all together now for Section 6. Is it worth it? The final verdict.
Synthesizing the economic critiques, the whole AI revolution, and the realities students face, experts from ET Career Talks emphasize that today, skills and adaptability often trump just holding a degree. Their closing advice is super practical. Focus on empathy, accountability, and action. Shift your mindset from just seeking jobs to actually creating them. Leverage the modern gig economy. Platforms like Fiverr and Upwork offer huge alternatives to the traditional corporate ladder. Above all, value continuous, lifelong learning over a static title.
So, what does this all mean? The MBA remains a powerful tool, for sure, but it is not a magic wand, which leaves us with this final provocative thought to chew on. As you navigate your own path, you have to ask yourself, are you simply buying a title for social validation, or are you truly investing in an education for a deeper purpose? Think deeply on that as you plot your next move. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.